everyone, and welcome to or back to my channel. If you haven't already, hit the big red subscribe button. A new year means a brand new bullet journal, and with that I took a trip to my local Michael's store so that I could grab a brand new bullet journal so that we can set things up for the year of 2021. So let's get right into it. So for this year's bullet journal setup, I decided to go with a color theme, which was a mix of a mint green, a bit of silver, and of course some classic black and white. This first spread is something that I always start every single new bullet journal out with, and I call it my key spread. And this is just something that I go by just to make sure that everything is neat and organized and that everything is labeled correctly. And I just made all these different labels for tasks, completed, migrated, scheduled, canceled, events, YouTube related things, important tasks, and of course just notes. And I'm just realizing that for the complete task, I did not fill in the bubble, but usually I will fill that in if it's complete. And for canceled, I will cross out the entire line. So sorry for that. So this next spread, although confusing to set up sometimes, is a complete lifesaver when it comes to creating spreads all throughout my bullet journal for the rest of the year. And this is what I like to call my grid cheat sheet. And this is just a whole spread, usually just one page long, and it's just me dividing up the entire page by numbering each dot, and then of course sectioning everything off into fourths, thirds, and halves. And this just really helps me when I'm creating future spreads so that I can look back and see a whole chart so that I can easily figure out just exactly how many squares wide a certain spread piece needs to be. So I hope that you guys sort of get the gist of what I'm trying to accomplish here, but this does come in handy so much for the future and when I'm filling out different pages in my bullet journal for different kinds of spreads. So a really quick tip for you all, if it just sort of is really confusing just to look at all these different lines on your bullet journal page, then it's really helpful if you actually color code each thing. So for the red sections, those represent my page divided into fourths, the green represents it divided into thirds, and the blue represents it divided into halves. So I just made a key of this towards the bottom of the page, and I can just look back on this and easily tell, okay, this is fourths, these are thirds, these are halves, and it's just really helpful and easier on the eyes. My next page consists of a quote by C.S. Lewis, and usually the page after my grid spacing key, I really do like to put some sort of a motivational quote of sorts, and it also just sort of helps to fill in that huge amount of like white space and just to sort of accent everything and to help things pop out a little bit more so that it wasn't just a bunch of black and white. I used a silver marker just to sort of highlight in a way like a couple of words here and there on the quote itself, and it just helped things to really pop out and not look too plain on the page. So for my next spread, this was actually something that I usually do, but this time around I decided to change up my year at a glance. And so this time I took 3 separate pages of paper, and I actually took my middle page or my second page and I actually cut off the top third of that page, leaving sort of a smaller flap of sorts between my outer pages. And in this way, after writing 2021 across the top, no matter which side of the flap I was on, looking at any of the year's mini calendars, I could always continually see 2021 written across the top. And I actually really liked how this turned out. Once again, wanting to change things up, I had quite a few rolls of washi tape laying around, and if any of you saw my stationery haul from over a year ago, I actually got like several rolls of washi tape from Staples, and I actually had this one still laying around, and I thought it actually went so well with this bullet journal. Like, the colors matched everything about this bullet journal, the color of the bullet journal itself, and I thought it added a nice touch to the bottom of this entire year at a glance spread. To finish up this entire 2021 year at a glance spread, I also added a small, like 10 bullet point notes section to the bottom of each and every mini calendar for each month of the year, and I feel this will be nice for me when I'm planning ahead for the future. So now we're moving on to the second to last page of this entire 2021 bullet journal setup. This is actually my yearly goals page. I guess some people could actually treat this sort of like a New Year's resolutions page, or just tracking whatever it is that they really want to accomplish this year. So I actually divided this entire page into mainly, I believe, 4 sections, and the very first one at the top is, of course, saying my 2021 goals, and that's mainly just like the largest goals I'm focusing on for the year. And then, of course, I am really big on reading, and I just absolutely love reading, and I've always got a continuous book list. And so one of those sections was on books to read, and then something on art stuff to try out, and then just things to do more often as well. So now I'm moving on to my final spread for the 2021 bullet journal setup, and here I kind of used this page to be like a cross between a motivational quote and my typical cover spreads, or my cover pages, where I would usually just write out the year. So I just wrote 2021 across the top using my silver marker once more, and then I sort of highlighted parts of this quote by Winston Churchill that just really stood out a lot to me. So because I noticed that this spread was sort of lacking in color and patterns, and there was also a lot of white space at the top and bottom of the page, I decided to also go in with a bit more of some matching washi tape. Just like I did with my year at a glance spread, I used a bit more of mint colored washi tape just to really tie everything together. And I have to admit, this is probably one of my favorite spreads. And I even used a bit of silver washi tape to tie everything back together. So with that spread being done, I just wanted to show you guys a quick and final flip through of my entire 2021 bullet journal setup, spread to spread, page to page. Alright, so that was it for my 2021 bullet journal setup, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see each and every one of you in my next video. Bye!